Welcome to this edition of the Institute for Dental Specialists. And we've got a special program today. We have Robin Bevins, and we'll talk a little bit about Robin and how I got to know Robin in a second. There's a smiling face. I talked to Robin on the phone, but here I get to see her. And Robin and I have gotten together a couple of times. She actually went to the meeting that we did at the American Academy of Periodontology in 2017, and she was there in the audience smiling at me, which is so nice. So let's talk about why we brought Robin on today. And the reason we brought Robin on was because of the problem that can occur when a patient calls your office and you don't know how your receptionist or your phone scheduler is answering the phone. Now, I'll have a little bit of a surprise for you at the end, but that surprise, I have to stay with it in order to be able to see the entire surprise. So let me tell you a little bit about Gilead Dental Marketing. Anybody who's been with the IDS or the AAIP for however long you've been knows how I depend on Gilead Dental Marketing as our primary marketing source. So they do the website for us, they do the Google AdWords campaign for us, and they do the magazine for us, and Rob is involved in the magazine part of it. We've talked about the benefits of Gilead, and I don't have to repeat that. If you have questions, just give me a call. But one of the things that is important with our relationship with Gilead, and perhaps even with another marketing company, is how you capture the phone call so you can determine how your front desk is answering the phone. You can spend a lot of money for marketing, and if nobody schedules on the other end, you've spent an awful lot of money for marketing with no result. And I can't tell you how important that is. So Robin has a service. She's going to talk about that. The service is unique in what they do with the service, but we're going to talk about the importance of capturing the phone call and, frankly, the importance of listening to the phone call. So with that, I give to you Robin Bevins.
That is absolutely true. So I've went ahead and made a little presentation that we can kind of follow along to. All right, can you see that okay?
Yeah, that's good, Robin. Thank you.
Okay, great. Okay, so there is just a very exact marketing cycle for every dental practice, and what happens at your front desk has pretty much everything to do with its success. And of course, the first step in marketing in this marketing cycle is to get the word out on your dental practice via a website, some kind of promotional materials, or even a magazine, which is what we produce and what we produce for Dr. Sheldon. That first step of the marketing cycle is what really makes your practice known, and if the marketing is effectively done, it should get your phones ringing with new patients wanting your services. The second step lies with your front desk, which is what we'll be covering today. How a receptionist answers the phone and talks to a patient should be a direct reflection of you and your practice. In that first contact with the office, it is crucial that the receptionist build and establish trust and confidence with the patient through good communication and listening skills. This will make them able to efficiently schedule the new patients calling in without losing any unnecessarily. That first call can make or break whether that person actually becomes a patient for your dental practice or decides to go elsewhere. The manner in which that person is handled determines the outcome. Through years of experience listening to inbound calls, we found that even the most effective marketing that causes your phone to ring continuously won't amount to anything if your front desk fails to convert a call or to a scheduled appointment, just like what Dr. Sheldon was saying. So we've seen that an untrained or inexperienced receptionist scheduling ratio will run around 35%. Unfortunately, as from what you can see here, that will not result in a prosperous dental practice. On the other hand, a good receptionist who knows how to handle all the various scenarios that can occur on that initial phone call will schedule around 70 to 80% of the patients calling into the office. And the best way to know what your scheduling ratio is and how your calls are being handled is by recording those calls into your practice by way of a call number, which we'd like to put on all of our marketing materials. So setting up a call tracking number is really easy. Once it's set up, you should be able to forward those calls to any number you like, be it the front desk, straight to a treatment coordinator, to a back office line, etc. There is no interruption in the phone call with a tracking number, nor does the phone ring unnecessarily any longer. But you should always keep in mind that the caller will only know the call tracking number, not the direct number to your office. So you really need to make sure that whoever answers the phone really knows the call tracking number too, because we've heard several scenarios where a patient calls in and is like, "Hi, did I just call 555-1188?" And the receptionist goes, "No, I'm sorry, you have the wrong number." And the patient hangs up, which is a huge missed opportunity. So another factor
You just gave me a hint. I don't think my front desk people know the tracking number. So thank you, Alan. Good.
So yeah, that's definitely something they should know.
Okay.
So another factor that's important in call tracking also is to make sure that every avenue of marketing that you have has its own separate call tracking number. This is just going to help you in the end monitor all of your marketing efforts to know which piece of marketing, whether it's a postcard or your website or one of our magazines, that you know which one's producing the best results for you in terms of dollars or types of treatments that you want to attract patients for.
And by the way, you'll see that varies from time period to time period. So for a long time, the magazine was the best producing venue that we had. Now the internet is better, and they do jockey back and forth, and that's not unusual for marketing.
Yeah,
But
and
it also is an indicator that if something changes, you need to look at it and look and see why that's changed. Just don't accept it as that's what the market is doing.
yeah, exactly. And then also marketing is a really cohesive effort. So a lot of times, depending on the area that you live in, some people will get a printed piece and then want to go check you out online, or they'll see you online and then they get the magazine or a postcard or something else that triggers them to call. It could be even a billboard or something. So as long as you're in people's face, I think that's what matters most, so that you can just get more new patients. So carrying on, having your calls recorded allows you to go back and listen to the calls that have come in so that you can use them for your own internal training purposes. And it's a really good way to make sure that the calls are being handled appropriately, which is what we're really focusing on here. Another thing that I've seen, and I know that you would be able to do, is you could also get the opportunity to recapture an interested patient if they were given any misinformation or not communicated with properly that didn't lead to a scheduled appointment. So I know several offices that have done that, and it has worked out in their favor, and they were very grateful for having the calls recorded so that they could recapture that patient. So when we listen to calls, we want to make sure that the receptionist is not just there to pick up the phone or to just answer patients' questions. In addition to this, we're checking to see, are the receptionists giving the patients incorrect information about you or your practice? Are they referring patients elsewhere? Are they just bluntly giving costs over the phone? Because this is not how they should be communicating with new patients. They should be interested in the patient's issue and even more interested in offering the solution of an appointment to get them the help they need by you. Unless it's very clear from the beginning of the call that the patient would not be a good fit for your office, the goal of every new patient phone call should be a new patient scheduled. And for us as a marketing company, it's very important to us to make sure that we are helping you maximize your marketing investment. So we like to check to make sure that there aren't any leads that get mishandled over the phone, causing missed opportunities to sell treatment or whatnot. So for you as the doctor and the owner of your practice, it really should be just as important to listen to the calls, or at least have a trusted employee or office manager do so that you can ensure your business is not missing opportunities to be more profitable and more successful. So,
You're back.
there we go.
Yeah, good.
So kind of in a closing, whether your receptionist is brand new or has been with you for 20 years, it's just really vitally important that they are handling new patients appropriately and that they are getting corrected pretty soon after if they're not. We're really strong believers in making sure that that your front office staff are really properly trained on what to do, and that they get any training that is really necessary on correcting any bad habits that have accumulated over the years, because we have seen pretty much an instant increase in new patients scheduled and in income in practices once proper training is put in place in practices. So, I mean, if you just think about it, what could one additional scheduled appointment mean for your practice, for the bottom line, per day or even one per week, especially if that's a really high-end case. So if you were to get several of those appointments that aren't missed anymore because you have a properly trained person on the front lines, that can mean a lot for the bottom line of your practice. And one last thing that I always kind of like to mention to a lot of our clients is that in a lot of dental practices, it seems to be sort of perceived that the receptionist is not a valuable or highly paid asset to the team, and that because of that, they're not really worth the investment in training. But the truth of that is that since they are on the front lines and they are responsible for getting new patients into your door and setting a really good impression for that new patient, they are every bit worth investing in, because an investment in them is really just an investment in your practice. And when you have a skilled receptionist that is properly trained and ready to handle patients and their questions and get them scheduled, all that really means for you is that you'll have more opportunities to be able to sell treatment and make your practice even more profitable.
It's true. And just because you have a trained receptionist does not mean that that receptionist can't fall down. We'll see an example of that in a moment. And particularly if that receptionist is somebody who's trusted, but then I give a little bit of instruction that we want to change things a little bit, and all of a sudden everything falls out the window. It's just amazing what can occur. I didn't believe it until Robin said, did you listen to your phone calls? So we were in post-production, because Robin and I are doing this on my phone today because our internet is out, but you'll have a chance to hear what can happen. Now, let's go over a couple of things. Number one, patient confidentiality. So in patient confidentiality, when somebody calls a tracking number, the typical thing that you've heard many times is this call is recorded for training purposes. That way the patient calling in knows that the call is recorded. That works the same way with every tracking number, right, Robin?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. Number two, there are two different ways that Gilead will do the two different services that Gilead will do. There is the mid-level, and then there's the high level. Why don't you describe what both of those services are, Robin? Because I think it's important.
So whenever we have a marketing service for one of our clients, we always put a call tracking number, because we want to be able to listen to the calls when we need to, and then also give access to our clients so that they can listen to the calls as well. And for the services that we provide, depending on what are the needs of the doctor, we will listen to the full call and record down all of the details, what the call was about, how the receptionist handled that patient, what the patient was originally calling in for, whether or not they scheduled, so that you can get an idea of what the scheduling ratio is in your practice. And on a slightly lower level service that we provide is we will still listen to the calls, but what we're really listening for are just how many new people and new patients, potential patients, are calling into your practice. Because if we listen to the calls for a few months, we can typically get an idea of what the scheduling ratio of your practice is, so that in the future, when we provide you with just number of new patient inquiries to your practice, you should be able to have a faint idea of how many of those new patients ended up scheduling an appointment.
Thank you. And of course, the importance of marketing is to get somebody in, but understand there are a number of different steps in the marketing cycle. And where you might say, well, gee, the magazine isn't producing anymore. I wonder who said that once. Then you start to look and you see what in fact is happening. And it's important for you to track every single step. You know, you can have the best hygienist in the world. You can have a laser. You can have a CT scan. If the patient doesn't come to the office, they don't get a chance to see any of that. So look at every point of that cycle. So that goes from advertising to distribution, and are the magazines being distributed, and where are they being distributed? Keep track of that by address and see what routes produce better than others. If we're talking about the magazine, then we can talk about the phone call. Listen to the phone call. What is the percentage of patients that are calling you versus vendors that are calling you? So you have that data there. Then once you have that data, is that data staying the same, or is it getting better? Is it getting worse? Track it along every single point and find out the real reason why something may be working fabulously well or maybe isn't working as well as it used to. And once you trace it down, you come to the answer. And I've got to tell you, the results are instantaneous. Amazing what can occur. So of course Danielle does training for phone training. She does a great job of it. Gilead does it too. I mean, you know, this is an area where we both provide those services. Either way, you're going to get a result, and it's important that you do get a result because you want to make sure that your marketing works. And when that occurs, then everybody's happy. Robin, you did a spectacular job.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. And listen, any questions, just send me an email, lee@directorofdentistry.com, and I'll be happy to come up with those answers. Or if there's something that you want from Robin, I'll just forward it over to her. Well, Robin, why don't you give people your email address as well?
So my email address is Robin, and it's ROBYN @GilliardMarketing.com. And Gilliard is spelled GILLEARD.
Good. Robin Bevins, it was fabulous. Great interview, great preparation. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so let's listen to an example of what can occur when the phone is not answered in the appropriate way.
How can I help you?
Hi, my name is Amit. Trying to see if I can make an appointment to come and consult Dr.
Yes, of course. And I'm so sorry, sir. I did not catch your name. Krishna, give me just a moment. Let me get you over to one of my new patient coordinators who's going to be able to further assist you with this, okay?
Okay.
Are dental implants always the answer? It's unique. Not only do we do the most advanced dental implant therapy, but we also predictably help you save your...
Can I help you?
Hi. I'm trying to see if I can come and consult Dr. some implants,
Okay.
dental implants.
Are the teeth already missing or?
Not missing.
They need to be taken out?
And then there was, and because of that injury, there are some problems in the upper jaw. The lower jaw is in reasonably good shape.
Okay.
And I talked to one person that he said, you need maybe 6 implants in the upper jaw, and then you may be in better shape, things like that. But I want to consult Dr. And how do you do that? You make an appointment.
Okay.
And
well, I'd like to review with everyone when they call to make an appointment what it costs for dental implants, because a lot of people don't have any idea of what it costs.
Okay.
So if someone told you you needed 6 implants, you're looking around probably $25,000 to $30,000, depending on what you got going on. But just kind of ballparking it.
Just for 6 implants?
Yes, they run about $5,500 each. But when you do more than one, that's why it's kind of less. Yeah. Now, will you
All
be
right,
able to keep some of your own teeth, or is that to replace all the upper teeth?
So, but to go there and consult, what is the fee?
It's $424.
To come there and somebody looking at it and tell you what
It would be $424.
That is
Yes, because we have to take a
consultation
CT
fee.
scan and all these other things. Now, do you have part of your teeth and they're good?
Yes,
So this is just going to be filling in the gaps.
right.
Okay. Sometimes patients come to us and they work on getting one side done, get it paid off, and then come back and do the other side. So that way the whole 25 to 30,000 isn't such a hard hit. You'd be more like 13 to 15,000 at a time. Is that something that?
I may had one or two implants in the past. Locally, they charged me like somewhere between somewhere over $2,000 for one implant. I remember having one maybe about 15 years ago.
Okay.
But your implants cost $5,500 a piece.
That's for the three parts that make up an implant. You got the part that goes in the bone, the implant itself. You got to wait about 2 to 4 months for that to get well integrated. Then we come behind that and design a component that screws down inside that implant but sticks above the gum line, and that gives a surface for the crown to be attached to. Those three parts are about $5,500 to $6,000. What you described, if it's just the implant, yeah, you're in about the $2,500 range.
Okay, let me think it over, and if I decide to come there, I'll give you a call back. Thank you.
I can send you a book that the doctors have written on implants if you'd like.
I have a little booklet that I received in the mail.
Oh, that magazine? Yeah, that's a good informative. The book that the doctors have written is a lot more detailed.
Okay, let me think it over. And
okay, not a problem.
Go there. Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Okay, so what did you think? Okay. So here's the true confession, and I alluded to it earlier in the program. That came from my staff member. And it essentially came as a result of, I remember we talked about earlier this year, we talked about the importance of phone screening, and we had the scenarios all worked out, and for whatever reason, this person didn't understand what I said, and essentially the phone was answered totally inappropriately, and it made a tremendous difference. The reason I talked to Robin, the reason we had Robin on today is essentially that she caught the error. I said, you know, the stats are down. Maybe the magazines aren't as effective. And then she listened to the phone calls and she said, take a listen to this. And there were several. And then I studied others. So we made immediate corrections. And the stats went right back up. So it's important. Even you, even I, can have these errors occur. And of course, we've changed some of our policies as far as who's listening and how we're listening. I mean, there are things that we're instituting, but the fact is the stats jumped right back up, which is the most important thing. So yeah, call tracking really, really important. Do it whatever kind of advertising you're using. Find a call tracking number so that you can record your calls and at least spot check the calls and know that in fact your calls are being made correctly. I'll see you again real soon.